All right, everybody, welcome to another week of Trash Panda Talks Wrestling with the one and only Lloyd Sharp.
Hi.
What we try to do here is give everybody the best and worst of the main shows and then the best and worst of the week. That way you don't have to filter through all the crap and we just get right to the point. So I think we can dive right in with the flagship show. Raw is Monday Night Raw. What
Yeah.
what you got for you want to start off on a good note or the worst?
Um, you know, it's been last week was a really long year. Let's just do the best. Start with the good.
Okay, I think it's pretty easy to say that the best on Raw this week was Apollo Crews winning the U.S. title. The man has deserved it for far too long, and he was happy. I was happy. The wrestling world was happy. It just, I mean, Oscar is always a close second, just because she's great at everything she does. Let her have any belt forever, but
Yes.
Apollo Crews, absolutely the best.
Well, my best would have been your best if I didn't pick Apollo Crews last week, just for the sheer push he was getting. So, ironically, my best this week is your close second, Oscar. It is nice to see a babyface champion booked to dominate, not booked stupidly to look like an idiot, not booked to be laid out every single week. Asuka is kicking ass, despite facing a much larger opponent. So for this week, Asuka's my pick for best of all.
I mean, you're not wrong. It was so close. She just is
Yes.
so great.
Yes. I
From
wouldn't pick Apollo if I didn't pick him last week.
that's fair. My worst this week, again, it was pretty close between two things. Too many talk shows this week, personally. Too many of those promo talk shows. The absolute worst this week. Angel Garza talking during a match. What is why? Why? I get the sense that they're trying to push him like he's the new Eddie Guerrero, and I hate seeing him. I hate him. I hate everything. I don't even think he's a good wrestler. I'm there. I said it.
Um, Ironically, my worst happened to be along those lines. Why were they trying to mix sex education with the United States title in that backstage segment?
It was gross.
I, I know that a lot of the younger viewers might not have picked up on that, but they're going to look back on that the same way we look back on Rocco's Modern Life with the telephone in the booth with the strange words on the side. They're going to get that one day, and it's not going to be a nice thing to realize. Worst.
Yeah, I can't. Again, I think we're in agreement. So it was just disgusting. All right, moving right along to. I think I'm just gonna let you have the NXT glory real quick.
Yes, this is true. I do NXT. He does AEW. I'm the other guy, Adam, whatever his name is, and he's Simon Miller. So my best of NXT, and it's admittedly because it's the first time I've really noticed it. I've not watched in a long. I admit I've not watched fully in a long time. Crowd. They are putting workers behind the plexiglass to cheer and boo. I have never enjoyed, I haven't enjoyed in a long time watching an empty arena show more than seeing a semblance of fan interaction, even if they're just workers. I don't care. That is my best simply because the moment I saw it, I knew I was going to love the show. Now, my worst of NXT. I don't know if anybody caught the collision between Blackheart's neck and the floor. And if you didn't, so Blackheart in her match against Gonzalez did basically a coffin dive back into two people they didn't catch her very well, and if you look, you can see her literally, the back of her neck just. I have not recovered, and that's my worst. AEW.
Yeah, that was pretty gross to watch. Now here's my thing, Lloyd. The best thing about NXT for you is something that they stole from AEW. AEW's been having the workers in the crowd for a while. Look, there was a lot of good stuff. And, I'm the AEW fanboy. I have a hard time finding anything wrong. But I'm going to start it with my worst. Mike Tyson is the worst on AEW. I'm sorry. He's ridiculous. They did a good job with creating a rivalry with Jericho, but he has never been the best on the microphone and ripping off his shirt. I don't need to see old man Tyson body randomly. It didn't sit well with me. It just, compared to the rest, it was just not a great promo. Now, my best of the week, best of the episode, spoiler alert, it's going to end up being my best of the week too. Britt Baker. Oh my God. Dr. Britt Baker had the best promo possibly of her entire career. She turned into female Jericho, told everyone to shut their ass. And then keeping up her gimmick as she's in a wheelchair being rolled out. It says role model on the back of the wheelchair. Oh my God. And I gotta be honest, the reason it's the best is because up until this point, I have hated every segment with Britt Baker. I think she's been doing not the best promo work. Most of the internet would disagree with me on that. But man, you can ask my roommate. I was watching the show and I was like, damn it, here's Britt Baker. And by the end of it, I was going, holy shit, Britt Baker just made me a fan. So that was just absolutely the best.
I dig it.
That brings us to the week, the last show of the week, to the Smackdown. Give me your worst so we can end on a positive.
I won't lie. I rather enjoyed SmackDown. My worst, not going to be a popular decision. It isn't even with me because I like the general storyline. But the Otis and Mandy segment, it came off just a little bit campy, just a little bit. And I feel like a natural progressing story that has been as good as this one doesn't need to get campy. It was funny, it was, the Mandy squirting, whatever, but I don't know. It had a very Vince McMahon knocking out the cameraman in the XFL, and the XFL cameraman having a fantasy about going into the cheerleaders' locker room before waking up in the middle of an XFL game field. Just didn't think it needed that. That's my worst of SmackDown.
I'll agree with you a little bit on that because it was kind of weird, kind of creepy. But no, my worst this week is definitely, and I love Jeff Hardy. I really do. Great wrestler. Part of the reason I'm still a fan. But that opening promo, I'm sorry, random car wreck, fake, all of it was staged. It was too obviously staged. It also went on forever. I was like, are we ever going to wrestle today? Or are we just going to stand here by this car crash? Yeah, I hated it. I hated absolutely every bit of it. I would say close second for worst. The match with Sonya Deville and Lacey Evans. I'm a Lacey Evans fan. This is no fault on either one of these wrestlers. But yeah, what a garbage setup.
Well, this is gonna be weird. My best for SmackDown was the opening segment. And
somehow I knew that was going to happen. I just knew that was going to happen.
It's because as bad as most of the acting was, and as ridiculous and over the top as it all was put together, it was something different. It is not something you used to see a lot in modern day WWE television, even back when they were doing the arena shows, much less since they've gone into this enclosed set kind of thing. You don't usually start off with mayhem happening all over the place and a possible hit and run of somebody possibly under the influence. You usually start it off, most of the time, with a 20-minute Seth Rollins promo or something of the like. And if I have to judge opening segments as to what I would rather have, this almost was a breath of fresh air from the usual come out and say nothing for 15 minutes before. If you're gonna start off with not wrestling, give me some campy, give me some stupid acting bullshit. I'll take it. And I will say that Jeff Hardy, for somebody that probably hit very close to home with, from an angle perspective, played his part very well. I don't like it because it was good. I like it because it was different. I'll admit that.
I'll give you that it was different. My main problem with it was that Jeff Hardy came back at the end to the show. How, why, no explanation. He just comes back.
I mean, I would try to use logic, but I try not to do that when I'm watching WWE because I'll tend to have a headache by the end.
As Simon Miller would say, stuff just happens.
Close second, the Battle Royale. The Battle Royale, for my money, the best in-ring portion of the show. But that was close second, the best of the week.
Yeah, the Battle Royale is my best of the week. But now there's a couple of things that were really close that I want to bring up. But yeah, anytime you get a bunch of people in the ring just beating the hell out of each other, that's a good time. That's always a win. But I love the whole Intercontinental belt tournament setup. I think we need more belt tournaments. But my real number one favorite part of SmackDown this week, my boy Shorty G. That's my boy. I don't care. I know his real name's Chad Gable, but he's Shorty G, and I love it, and I'm glad he's getting a push. Go Shorty G. For all us little guys out there, you the man.
I'll give you that. It was good to see him win. Although, when somebody faces Cesaro these days,
yeah,
probably say
you kind of know. But hate it for the guy, but yeah, we kind of know what's happening when he gets in the ring.
Exactly. All right, so what's the best of the week? Man.
Again, spoiler alert, it's Britt Baker. It just is. Right. The role model, Britt Baker. She's the best.
Right. Well, my overall best of the week, and to be honest, it's not the most glamorous thing that went down, but the main event of NXT, although Matt Riddle lost, the main event of NXT, my personal favorite of the week, only because Kurt Angle coming back to referee was nice, but he didn't get in the way, and the story in the ring told in that main event was just brilliant. And if I'm taking segments out of it, if I'm taking spectacle out of it, this week I did not see a better in-ring segment that I was genuinely invested in. Asterisk Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus than the main event of NXT. That's my best of the week.
Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. We got a couple of dream matches this week. I was really happy with. But okay, that brings me to unfortunately the worst of the week. It's still the opening segment from SmackDown. I hated it so much. It just my main problem was it just went on forever. And then him showing up at the end, making it even more confusing. I hate it.
That's fair. I mean, I recall an NWO segment back in the mid '90s where Rey Mysterio took a face plant off the side of a building. That too went on forever, but it also lives on forever for that very reason. This was not that. Just random note. My worst of the week. God, it was really close, but let me go directly from my notes here. My worst of the week was, God, I almost hate to say it. I'm sorry. I love Otis and Mandy, but they're hot-shotting the silliness of it way too fast, and they're gonna sour people on it if they keep doing things like this. I don't want them to ruin it. Don't ruin it. It's the one good thing we've had all year that has stayed with us and not departed due to a release or a go away, or because Vince said this is not good shit and got rid of it. Don't ruin Otis and Mandy, please.
You know, I find it hard to disagree with you. I love them, but that segment was weird.
My father didn't even like it. He's the mark.
They're both great, but yeah, that segment this week was, I don't feel like it served a purpose.
Not even.
All right, well, let's wrap this up with one of my favorite things that you do, This Week in Wrestling History.
Yes, This Week in Wrestling History, since last week was a bit of a darker one, I'm going to keep it very simple this week. Here are some people who were born today that happen to be in the wrestling business. And the three people that I'm going to name is just an odd mix that I thought was interesting. Born on this day, Nia Jax, Brian Kendrick, the Brian Kendrick, and Hornswoggle. There is a tri-team you want to take in a Survivor Series with you.
I love that. Hornswoggle should be mentioned more often, even if he's not really doing it anymore. It's one of the best things that ever happened. Unfortunately, I guess I'll give a best and worst birthday. Sorry, Nia, kind of hate you.
Yeah, she's becoming more dangerous than Seth Rollins.
I'm saying, but even Seth figured it out. Like,
yeah, he did eventually. I wish he could have figured it out before he faced Sting, but he eventually figured it out.
All righty. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Bye.
So, next week, things are going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to tell you about it now. I'm not going to. If he wants to, we can. I'll just.
Yeah, we're gonna move the show to the actual studio, so I don't have to hold myself up in my bedroom while I do this anymore. I don't know if you're gonna be there, but I hope to see you.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't we just let it be a surprise unto the viewers as to whether or not we're gonna be in the same place next week?
Who knows? Open it up.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, everybody, until next week, this is Trash Panda Talks Wrestling with Lloyd.
Thanks for joining.